Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Funky Fixes. So it's becoming a bit of a tradition, but I was pleasantly surprised that my first submission was actually pretty high quality. Now that also means that there aren't that many obvious flaws, so I'm gonna have a bit of a more serious segment near the end, just to, maximize brain cell growth. Anyway, I'm gonna present the email from Noah in a second with the issues that they wanted fixed. So you can pause the video for that. Alright, so I'm gonna start with the engine because that's gonna free up some space, right? Let's take a quick look. Okay, so we have a supercharger hybrid engine. Yeah, those are turbos on the side. So the engine is inefficient. Yeah, it's true. It could burn more materials because, unspent materials are dangerous. You don't get to keep your unspent materials when you die, so you should burn them while you have the option. So we're gonna replace that. I'm actually going to tell you to stop moving for a hot minute. Is it actually gonna stop moving? Yes, it will. Okay. And I'm gonna look for one of my own engines. Let's see what would fit in that space. Please don't explode. It didn't explode. Perfect. We have a relatively small space. This should work. Yeah, this is perfect. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 blocks. That's ideal. That's exactly the right size that we need for the tank because I calculated that ahead of time. And 3 wide. And now I always get confused in those buttons. Perfect. Now I'm gonna pull that out of play because I don't need it anymore. And I pulled the wrong one out. Play that one. Pull that one. Teleport here. Very good. Okay, let's tear down the engine. Don't need that, don't need that. I'm going really slow, and with the new options, this is really easy. I'm just hitting Control-Shift-Delete, and it's just breaking everything. Alright, perfect. We've got some space in here. Let's hit the prefab button again. Let's not mirror because sometimes that causes issues. Now, let's see if we can take a look inside to see if I'm placing that correctly. This is a bit hard to see. Where are the exhausts? Do I care? Where are the exhausts? Turn on the light. Maybe... Oh, the exhausts got deleted. Okay, that's why I can't see them. And that looks like it fits just fine in here. Now we've got a whole bunch of space on top of the engine. Oh, I think I placed that wrong. Yes, I did. Control Z. Alright, and now we're just gonna kind of pipe the engine outside. Now we'll have even more power for even more materials. Perfect, right? So, pipe this. I think that's the correct way it is. Pipe that. I don't need that. Actually, that doesn't need to curve. There we go. And then the whole pipe. Same on the other side, and just kind of plug the holes. There should be one on both sides. And there we go. Now we have very powerful engine That's so much more efficient. Don't look at the numbers. All right, moving on. All right, now that we've fixed the engine, we can tackle more serious issues like detection. Yes, so if detection is insufficient, just add more, right? Oh, actually, that'll make it easier if I do that. So, I don't know, a retro reflection. Let's put, passive radar, a regular radar. Yeah, that's connected, perfect. Well, why not put a sonar, right? Just in case you just kind of, oh, that doesn't connect. Oh, that's very unfortunate. What if I do this? Perfect. So now you can, drive your tank into a river and you're not going to be entirely blind. And let's top that off with another camera, because that's a really good vantage point for a camera. And on the other side, let's have, maybe not on the first level, because it actually needs a line of sight. It draws, so trackers, I'm going to start from the beginning. Trackers actually need to draw a line straight from themselves to the target, and they can actually collide with your turret if the target is a little bit lower. So it's better if you put them higher up, right? So actually duplicates would be great, right? So let's have a second passive radar, and let's put a rangefinder on top. Perfect. Now I need more detection cards, and that's why we freed up some space under the hood. Let's go. How much do I need? That should be plenty, right? General processing card. Boom, boom, boom. That's almost exactly as much as I need. And now I've got some free space for even more stuff if I want. Awesome, perfect. And bam, just like that, 2 problems fixed. Next, we have turret protection is insufficient, all-around protection is insufficient, and EMP protection is lacking. Now, EMP is weird, so let's play it safe and just kind of, add some protection. It's going to have the added benefit of being able to trigger certain types of shells ahead of time before impact. So let's say a heat shell hits one of those, it's just going to kind of destroy it and not actually hit your tank and damage it. So that's just, win-win. Let's not forget the turret, because there's precious detection on it. That's not blocking detection, is it? Nah. Perfect. And overall protection, so let's, you should probably give the turret a helmet, because that's just, as you do. That's a bit tall, actually. Better make it out of alloy, because if the helmet is too heavy, neck issues or something like that, that'd be terrible. So a little flak helmet. Something like that. The camera's kind of in the way, that's fine. And actually, in order to increase the EMP protection and also to protect you from 5G, let's put some surge protectors in there as well. Never forget your 5G protection. Do something like that, and let's make it really fancy and use some actual slopes. So now our tank has a helmet and some EMP protection. Now, World War II tanks had a lot of skirts, and I feel like we don't have enough skirts. I think we should trust in the World War II engineering and add some skirts to this thing, because that just kind of makes sense, right? Oh, that's the wrong color. Let's make sure it's the right color. I should have just hit Control Z, but whatever. Or Z. I have no preference. I don't care. Alright. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. Now we've got attachment points for our skirts. Now let's do this efficiently. Let's just kind of draw a square and then fill it in with the fill tool. Like that. Perfect. And now I can just kind of aim there and fill it. Don't forget to do the other side because it doesn't mirror for whatever reason. And let's do just kind of the same thing. There we go. Fill it in. Alright, now if that's not a lot more protection, I don't know what it is, right? This is just, this should be pretty much invincible at this point. It's too bad about the camera, but you know, better be safe than sorry. Next, for a bit of a more serious segment, the very real issue of Mordaka, or to quote the email, the gun lacks punch. Now I considered different options, because this gun is 250 millimeters and I believe the shells are 3 meters long. Right. And I'm not super familiar with Ashes of the Empire, but I do think that designs tend to run more heavy armor because they're so compact and there's only so much you can do to armor a vehicle that is so small. So I decided against penetration depth shells, even though for neither they are decently viable at that gauge and length. Pure kinetic might deal more DPS overall, but the HES shell with a little bit of explosive damage should be really versatile, and it has that punch, you know, the ability to just hit and have a chance to deal crippling damage in one hit. So I decided against changing the shell, and instead I picked a very safe bet to add punch to the vehicle, and that is to quite simply add a fist to your vehicle. Now this has, well, 5 pistons stacked on top of each other, so it's gonna hit with a lot of speed. It's gonna be going about as fast as a car traveling in a school zone, so you better watch out. And it's pretty heavy. It's got a ram hidden in there if you look at the blueprint, and that should really, if it doesn't kill your foes, it should scare them. It should be really quite reliable. There's no going wrong with just adding fists to your tank. Actually, let's add a second one, right? Because you don't want to be like a cripple tank, right? So let's just kind of do this, I guess. That didn't work because I'm trying to build on the turret. Yeah, there we go, there we go. And you have 2 same side hands. That nobody's gonna notice. And there you go. Now you can just kind of jab at your enemies if they ever try to get close. And now finally for the genuine fix, because I don't think most of you learned a lot from that, but I had a lot of fun doing it. I actually did replace the engine with something a bit more efficient, so if you go back in the video and look, there was actually a way to improve that engine. Biggest thing was to actually remove some of the superchargers and add some turbos. And I added just standard carburetors. No, that's not right. I added superchargers instead in between these 2 carburetors, which drove the numbers up, as you can see. It did lower the maximum amount of power, but the tank didn't really need it, so it should be overall more efficient. The shield is, or rather was, skin tight with the front slope, and I don't think it would normally cause issues, but the fact that it was a possibility that shells might bounce off the shield into the turret kind of made me a little bit nervous. And since I freed up some power, I'll explain how I did that in a minute. I added extra power to the shield, I raised it up a little bit, and I made it a little bit taller. and that now also grants extra protection to the turret. One of the things you'll notice is that I made the turret also have only one barrel. At such a small size, the multiple barrels just hurt the accuracy, and there was no real gain because I could just replace the gauge increasers used to make this a 500mm split in 2 barrels down to a single 250mm with more coolers to make up for the loss. There was also a little bit of overkill on the rail use, so I removed a couple of chargers. There's still a little bit more than it needs, and it doesn't really need the railgun to fire. It just makes the shell a little bit faster. So I actually checked the allow railgun to fire when partially charged, so that way if there's ever a problem with the railgun, it'll just keep firing. So there's that. In terms of protection, there wasn't a whole lot I could do, but there was the ammo customizer. Sorry, we can't really see very well. The ammo customizer was literally on the floor of the tank, and that was a bit of a weak spot, right? It was like 1 block lower where there's actually the bottom plate. And that actually means that if an explosion goes off on the ground, like if it actually misses the tank, there's a chance that it will blow through the ammo customizer and into the engine compartment. So I think that should have improved the survivability of the tank a little bit. I'm gonna turn the shield alpha back down because that's just really annoying. So I did that. I removed the inner wall between the engine and the turret. If the turret explodes, the tank's just dead anyway. And the front armor actually has slopes, internal slopes to deal with hash and heat, and there's a lot of heavy armor. As you can see, I can just scroll. It's like heavy armor, heavy armor, heavy armor, heavy armor. So if you penetrate the front plate, this thing's dead anyway. So I removed that. It left some space for me to add some more detection cards away from the front where there's the shield generator and add extra surge protectors. So hopefully that should improve the EMP protection, although there's only so much you can do. I snuck a few more around the back and there was too much ammo, and the ammo is on the gun, which is fine for such a small compact design. That actually makes sense. But there was too much ammo, so I actually removed a couple of ammo crates and added surge protectors into the gun as well, just in case, because that would knock out the detection if the turret was hit. And that is about it. The shell, there's truly very little I could do. It would be circumstantial at best. You could probably use different shells against different types of enemies, and that would be better than just the all-around hash, but I didn't feel it was worth it. And well, that's it. So once again, thank you, literally thank you, Noah, for sending me this amazing little piece of hardware. This is just a great looking tank. That turret shape is just mwah. And yeah, thank you for contribution. So please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment, and consider sending in your own blueprints for more funky fixes or for a showcase video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.